new study published, people who practice yoga after consuming marijuana experience improved mindfulness and mysticality, indicating that setting and behavior may play an important role in modulating a person's cannabis experience. The paper by author Sarah Elizabeth Ann Daniels was published as a University of British Columbia psychology dissertation that stated when using other psychoactive drugs to treat mental health conditions, researchers pay particular attention to contextual factors beyond the direct drug effects, such as the mindset, setting, and behavior, as there is considerable evidence that these factors can significantly impact the therapeutic outcomes, she said. These factors are rarely considered during therapeutic cannabis use. The study's results generally indicate that what you do while you experience cannabis matters. Mirroring psychedelics, this study supports the concept that set and setting during cannabis use may significantly impact the therapeutic benefit of the drug. That means your mindset, right? Like how you're feeling, how you're coming to the experience, and then setting is where you're doing it, who you're around, etc. To test whether context affected someone's cannabis experience, Daniels had 47 participants self-administer cannabis twice, 1 week apart. During one session, they practiced yoga. During the other, they did what they normally do when high: walk around, watch TV, play with the dog, etc. Participants were scored on measures including state mindfulness, mysticality of experience, and state effect. State mindfulness measured both traditional Buddhist and contemporary psychology models of mindfulness, including awareness of both mental states and bodily sensations. Mystical experience, meanwhile, referred to the feelings of experiencing eternity or the infinite, a sense of peace and tranquility, or a loss of one's usual perception of time. Daniels found significant improvements in respondents' reported mindfulness when they practiced yoga with cannabis. Their mysticality of experience was also greater. As for state effect, essentially one's emotion and mood, no significant difference emerged between yoga and non-yoga sessions. Much like studies of cannabis today, studies of psychedelics in the 60s were producing wildly variable results. Researchers began to realize that set and setting had nearly as much influence on study outcomes as pharmacological factors. 72% of these participants said they'd mix cannabis and yoga again. Not only did yoga seem to make their cannabis experience better, but cannabis also seemed to enhance their enjoyment of their yoga practice. Most frequent reported theme was enhanced physical awareness, which captured an increased awareness of the body, movement, and the physical sensory experience. Participants reported they were more in touch or in tune with their body and their body's needs and felt their body sensations and sense of movement on a deeper level. These findings suggest that paying attention to contextual factors and providing guidelines for therapeutic cannabis users may improve clinical outcomes when using cannabis to support mental health and well-being. Pairing marijuana and yoga, meanwhile, is nothing new in the cannabis community. Classes combining the two have been around since at least the early years of state-level legalization and likely much longer. But the reported benefits of those effects so far have been mostly anecdotal, which just means persons relating them. What I'd like to share is yoga itself was actually and is actually a mental, physical, spiritual method. It's a tool to be used with cannabis and psychedelics. And though a lot of people come to yoga without cannabis or psychedelic usage, these asanas and breathing postures, etc., were actually developed by ancient Indian cultures, given to us through the Upanishads and the Vedas, as a means of accelerating personal growth and alchemical distillation of the self while high on psychedelics. And if you don't believe me, go read into the Vedas, go read into the Upanishads, see it for yourself. Even better, smoke a big fat joint or a bong rip, do some yoga, sit still, breathe, tune in to who you are, where you are, and perhaps where you are headed in this life. This is Matthew St. Germain on a Monday. Looking forward to hearing what you, my correspondents, and Jay Beck have to say about this.
Well, oh, sorry, Jason.
Jump
I can't hear Jason again.
Can't hear him.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Oh,
yes, there you
all
go.
right, all right. Sorry. I think they were trying to silence me over here. Trying to have me silenced over here. But no, I love this story, Matthew, and I do yoga. I'm a big fan of yoga, and I however though, I could only probably smoke after yoga, not before yoga, because I noticed like I have a hard time doing a handstand if I have smoked before yoga.
I have a hard time doing a handstand anytime,
There
okay?
you go.
I do not know what kind of extreme action you're getting. I mean, I think this is another one of these things where the research catches up with the confirmation bias that I think anecdotally or in society we've had this sense that that might make sense, and now we've got some data to back that up. Um, sure, if you get high and you watch snuff films or horror, or I mean, we're all a byproduct of what we choose to feed ourselves, whether that's intellectually, nutritiously, energetically. This seems to make sense. For me, if I got high and I had to go to a public yoga session with a bunch of hot ladies and some Lululemon, it would
Yeah.
actually, I would like, my anxiety would go up. My downward dog would not stay so down. And I would definitely be having a hard time staying focused because I'd be like, wow, she's doing that pose.
So you have no
way
self-control.
Oh, snap.
I've worked on relativity control. Yeah, I mean, I have a custom shock collar, and Heather zaps me when I'm out of line. But I do think that we can extend this further, right? For those of you who are not so enthusiastic about yoga, I think we can extend this idea further, which is that those things that create calm, well-being, sort of positive reinforcement could be accentuated while being accentuated, being under the influence. I don't think that that's something that that really is groundbreaking, earth-shattering information. I think this really confirms what a lot of people have already sort of intuitively thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very much so. And if you look in India, the Shivite Naga Babas, the different Babas, they have a thousands of years tradition of smoking cannabis, mostly in the form of charas, which is finger hash, of smoking cannabis, doing yoga, and doing breathing practices. And they feel that cannabis was a gift from Shiva, who's a divine emanation, a supreme personality of Godhead, and cannabis was given to us to forward our yoga practice. And what yoga means is yoke or union. And so the thought is that cannabis usage actually increases our union with the divine.
Oh, interesting.
And also, you don't have to do a full lotus, right? You don't have to do a handstand. Some corpse pose is a popular is one of the
That's
first
my
foundational
favorite
yoga
pose.
poses.
That's my favorite
It's just
pose at
it's
the
laying
end of
on your
yoga
back.
class.
Right.
Pose
And
Yeah.
pairs with the chronic. You're like, oh, fuck.
it's
Yeah.
a great thing to do to just lay on your back and breathe and tune in with your body and who you are and check in with the fact that also like you're gonna die. And I think it's important for people to face that fact that we are mortal beings and we are going to die, because it allows us to really order our life in some way that has a matter and meaning to us. Because if we get caught up in just self-medicating and staying on the TV and not really ever looking at these kind of existentially terrifying facts of the undoing of our completely of our personality and the approaching void, and whether you have a thought as to what happens after you die or not, let's put that aside because nobody knows and there is no proof, right? In order, if one takes a moment daily or weekly or at least in some periodic moment to encounter and digest the reality of one's own death, I think one will make better choices and really choose to live a more full life.
Look at that. Preach
I
on.
am a big time yogi. I love yoga. It's been probably the best gift I ever gave myself as far as exercise is concerned. Um, and my experience is always enhanced when I use cannabis. One of my very favorite things to do is like yoga and cannabis classes, and those are all over the place. You can look online and find one in almost every city where there is legal cannabis allowed, sometimes even when there's not.
I thought you were going to say where there's
They're
legal
still
yoga allowed.
And if if you're like Yarrow myself and sometimes you smoke weed and get a little social anxiety, you can get on YouTube and find yoga techniques. You can literally download JPEG images of sun salutations. You can message Jason Beck at the High at 9 News
That's
at
right, you
gmail.com and
I'll give
he'll
you a
lead
whole
through
flow.
a personalized yoga session. There
I'll
you
give
go.
you a whole flow set. 100%. You can listen to
Oh,
me
man.
teach you
But you know
yoga.
what, like, guys, it's not exclusive to yoga though. This is
Correct.
just exercise in general, right? It's
I
anything.
don't
It
think
could
so.
be
I think this
running.
is specifically for yoga.
The study was for yoga, but I mean, smoking weed and jujitsu rolling, smoking weed really adds to the
I'm really good at
relaxation and
rolling.
flow of jujitsu, right? Smoking weed and riding a
Mhm.
bike is fucking amazing.
That's also
Not
rolling.
the F word, sorry, but that is also rolling. Basically, smoking weed and doing anything except math in your head.
But
That's the
hold
one
on a
thing I
second.
can't
Hold on
do.
a second, Matthew. One of my favorite things to do while I'm consuming cannabis is, you know what? Counting stacks of cash.
So
And
that's
that would
not
technically
math.
be doing math, Matthew. You see what I did
Jason,
there?
That's not math. And if you're gonna listen to somebody, you should listen to the man who has math in his first name.
See what I'm saying? Well, he is the immortal one. He was telling us how we're all gonna die, but he's still gonna be here.
He's just doing subtraction. Don't be angry at him.
Oh man. Oh. Thank you so much for that story, Matthew.
Oh, my
We're gonna go to a
goodness.
commercial. We're gonna be right back.